kids? We're back with another trick series with
Good boy, Vortex.
It's not so much of a trick as it is how you take the tricks and put them together. Today we're talking about flow and how to get into it, how to sort of cheat it, and that type of stuff. Truly being in flow is it's more of a mental state. It's not something you can just force and make it happen whenever you want. There's ways to help yourself get into it. We can go over that a little bit, but the primary focus of this video is how to not necessarily be in flow state, but how to just make your flying look like you're in flow state. So that way it's something you can do whenever you want. You're not dependent on that magical moment of when you're actually in the zone, as people would say. I'm in the zone right now. First thing to keep in mind about flow is having all your basics nailed down perfectly. The more comfortable you are with all your tricks, the easier it's going to be for you to just bust into it in the middle of a line and not have to think about it so much. You just go from one trick to the next and it should all work out good. So have all your flips and rolls and basic tricks down really confidently. So then the first couple packs, you're going to want to do two things. You're going to want to reinforce your basics and just do some warm-ups, flips, rolls, make sure you're catching them nice and clean. And then the other thing you're going to do is just fly around slow, checking for video, where's bad video, and also finding your lines and your paths that you want to take. I like to think of it almost like a racetrack. Even though I'm freestyling, I still want to make it so there's a circuit that I could keep doing. And then on top of that, what you'd really want to do is have different variations to get through that circuit. So as you come to each turn, you can have different variations of different ways you can go, and that's going to help keep it fresh. What you're going to want to do is identify the key areas that you want to fly, what has the cool features. If it's there's a dive gap over there and there's a power loop thing over there, it's just like a skate park. You're going to go from the vert section over to the street section, and there's a rail in the corner. So you're going to want to identify what each of those objects are that you want to interact with, and then you're going to want to kind of store that in your mind and add that into your paths. So your paths are going to be a way to get from one object to the next. Once you've figured out which areas you want to fly to and which different types of paths you want to take, the key to looking like you're really in the flow is every time you come out of something, take the path of least resistance to the next cool obstacle. So even if in your mind you were headed over to do that power loop thing, if you naturally come out and you're headed over to this split S obstacle over here, just go that way instead. What kills the flow is hesitation and slowing down and where you're kind of figuring out where to go. We interrupt this tutorial to find Peter's lost drone. It came unplugged, so hey, pro tip for you kids, make sure you have your battery lead set up in such a way that it doesn't come unplugged when you crash, because the difference between finding your quad when it's plugged in and not is night and day. We're gonna do a little rooftop reconnaissance here.
I could never see why.
Alright, we're ready to go. Wish me luck, hey?
I am.
Old Petey Boy's gonna have to leave without his drone tonight, because we don't have a ladder. You gotta always have a ladder on hand, Pete, for these occasions.
On the roof.
On the roof. He'll get it back.
It's fine. It's unplugged.
This ain't the first time and it ain't the last.
Nope. I always leave my ladies on the roof at the end of the night.
Alright, get the fuck out of my vlog.
That's just horrible.
I don't know what you're talking about, Pete. The next tip for flowing and keeping it interesting is don't repeat things over and over and over again. It kind of goes back to how I was talking about having variations. Not only variations on your lines, but also the tricks you do. And so what you want to do is kind of keep a mental tally of okay, I know I've done a roll through this window already. Don't do that again. So if you do want to do a trick through that window, do a backflip next time, or roll the opposite way. And then just, again, try to keep track of what you've already done. Don't repeat it. And then lastly is just staying calm. If you're nervous, you're not in flow state. The more relaxed and zen you feel, then the more you can try crazy things, and it'll probably work because you're in the zone, you're in the flow. You can kind of like ease yourself into the flow if you start off slow, start gaining more and more confidence, and then as you feel it coming on, you can start pushing a little more. You'll just get that feeling like, yeah, things are going good. You don't want to put too much thought into it because you can think yourself out of flow state too. If you're too aware of it, it'll just kind of go away. And if you're like in a bad mood and you're pissed off or you're frustrated, just don't even try flow, because flow just doesn't work with that. Flow works when you're just relaxed and zen. If I'm not going for like getting some cool clip or, you know, getting a long line, what I'll do is just do a bunch of rolls, a bunch of flips, and just work on the fundamentals. So that's like going back to step one of what I talked about in this video, which is get your fundamentals down. Sometimes that helps. So like take a battery or two and just cruise real slow, do all your flips and rolls, all your tricks you can do, warm up, and then as you're starting to feel it, then starting to get into flow. Alright kids, that's all I got for today. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you enjoyed the video, you know what to do. Like, comment, subscribe, notifications, all that stuff. Send me money, whatever you want to do. Say nice things. Unsubscribe to Bot Grinder. Check out the sweet new shades. They're from some company called Narcissist. Good name with the G. Can we focus on that? Does that work? Can you see me? Can you see the glasses? I don't know, I think they're pretty sweet. I think it's like some company that supports more like outdoor sports like kayaking and stuff, but they're getting into supporting some FPV guys, so that's kind of cool. So shout out to Narcissist for the shades, thank you. Alright, I've rambled enough. Again, you know what to do. Like, comment, subscribe. Thank you. Goodbye!